Tony from GenRight here, and today we're going to talk about everything that's involved to convert from a factory fender all the way over to one of our high fenders, which is going to include a brand new battery box and an aluminum inner fender. So we will completely remove this stock fender and you can take it off and sell it. All right, so you're going to need to remove the air box, the fuse block, and the battery. There's also some little Christmas tree clips or one-time clips from the factory that hold some wiring harnesses and air conditioning lines in place if you have that on your Jeep. You'll also need to disconnect the lights. There's a harness that comes out to that, and we sell a brand new Stealth side marker light kit that you can replace these two with. It's an optional upgrade. So you'll start just by unscrewing some of this stuff, get this out of the way. You'll put a small filter on this when you're done. You won't reuse this air box anymore. All right, now that we have the factory fender off, you can look at the battery box, and the factory one sticks off the firewall quite far because it sits down very low. Well, you can upgrade to our battery relocation tray, and what this does is it lifts it up and pushes it back, so you get about 3 more inches of wheel opening, and that allows you to run a bigger tire without rubbing here in the back section. All right, remove the factory hardware holding your battery tray to the firewall. There's 2 nuts and 3 bolts. Now that you've got the old battery out, this is a great time to upgrade the battery. In this case, we chose the Odyssey, which is a really high quality battery, and it also has an extra set of posts where we can mount something like the winch or other high power accessories. All right, now we're going to go ahead and install the fender itself. Before we do that, we know that we're putting on our aluminum inner fender, so I've installed this bracket already because it's clear and easy to get to it. We've moved the AC line up slightly, and now we're going to go ahead and put the fender in. We're going to start bolting up the front and then move to the rear as we go along. So we're going to reuse the factory fender bolts that came out, and you just kind of hold this thing up here. It's nice and lightweight, so it's easy to hang on to. Just get a few of these started. With this cutout here, it makes it really easy to get to these bolts here, which is great. So you're able to just thread these in right through the hole. Works out great. Now, each of these holes, as you can see, are slotted. So that gives you the ability to adjust this fender up and down. It's slotted in the back and slotted in the front. So don't worry about where it's at right now. We're just kind of getting it placed. You want to get all the bolts lined up, and then you can go ahead and start tightening everything up. Oh, by the way, it's perfectly normal that things might be twisted. Once we've gone ahead and loosened up the front cowl, there are these struts that support it, and you may need to loosen these 13mm bolts here and let everything kind of float in to fit the fender. The fender also, because it's welded, is heated while it's being welded, so the metal can move around, so you might have to pull or push to get the bolts lined up, but just get everything started and then you can go ahead and tighten it up and everything will fit perfect. All right, the inner fender is all aluminum. It's fairly flexible. It's been designed with this shelf inside here that puts this area where the fuse block and a couple other things go at the factory height. So it makes it really easy to get inside here and put all your components back in. Now, if you're worried about scratching your inner fender, you might want to remove this bolt and remove this nut and push the shock down. We're not too worried about it today, and I'm just going to show you how this slips in. You go up and over that, and again, like I said, this thing is pretty flexible, so you kind of slide it in, you get this lip here behind, and then you pull this up, and then you can go ahead and start putting some bolts in, and there's rivets that go along the top, and then you drill for the back 2 bolts here. But your aluminum fender goes in and looks just like that. All right, it's time to finish installing the inner fender. On the rear portion, there's 2 holes that you need to line up with your tube fender. You line the crease up with the edge of the tube fender, mark those with a Sharpie, just draw a little mark for each one, then back the fender toward the motor, drill it out, and then use the supplied hardware, which is going to be a bolt with a fender washer in each of the 2 holes to tie the back portion of the inner fender to the fender. All right, we've placed the inner fender, we've got the hardware in the front, I've drilled the holes and just finished bolting this down. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rivets that need to be put on the top. So we're gonna go ahead and that attaches the inner fender to the actual tube fender. So it's already pretty solid as it is, but this makes for a really nice, clean connection. So we're gonna go ahead and drill those. I recommend that you start with the rear hole first. Drill that. Then you're gonna put the rivet in. You're just gonna set it in there like that. And you're gonna move all the way to the front, and you're gonna push this in to the proper location without drilling through your finger. And there you go. All right, next thing to do is it's time to remount some of the things that were on the inner fender. There's a factory bracket that held on the fuse block. This can be, originally it was turned this way, you can flip it around, you can re-bend these little tabs on here and actually use existing bolts on the inner fender, drill a couple new holes, and bolt this guy right back down into place, and then clip the fuse block right back in here. Now, remember, we had some AC lines in here as well, so you're gonna wanna pull those back down into place carefully. You've got a wire harness in here for your side marker lights, and the fender comes undrilled for your hood latch, because we don't know if people are going to go with hood pins or what they're going to do, so we just leave it up to you to drill that. But if you want to reuse your factory style hood latch, you just drill a hole for that, and you can go ahead and remount that as well. Then you're going to need to do your air cleaner right here and tie all this together, right? Just tidy it up. Reconnect. All right, we've got the fender, the battery box, inner fender all installed now. Now it's time for a little bit of the detail work, right? So your factory side marker light will get changed over. This is an optional light kit that we offer. We call it our Stealth side marker light kit. It's got a little aluminum bracket and the side marker light and the front light. This pops into this hole. It's really easy. You just put the little grommet in first, then the light just pops right in. Now what I do is I wire this one to be my blinker so that people in front of me when I'm turning left or right can see. And then this one is the side marker light. We call this the Stealth because it hides way up underneath here. And when you're standing outside the vehicle, you never even see it. But if you're another car approaching from far away, they can see it. And this reflects light all the way across here. So whether it's, you get a wide range of view on this side marker light. So there's a few wires inside here. You cut and splice in this one, and then there's another light, because there's 2 lights on the factory fender, that you wire in for the side marker light. So this one stays on with the headlights, and then this one only activates when you use the blinker. Cool little kit. This one hooks back in when you do your hood latch. It uses that same bolt pattern and ties right in. All right, one of the other last details once you've got the fender on is we've left this open so you can get access to tighten all the bolts. Now it's time to put in the perforated side panel. These are held in place with some small stainless steel button head screws. The nuts are pressed into the back of this plate. So all you have to do is put the plate in here, and you line up where the threaded hole is. You can just start the thread, and I've got a little 3/32 Allen head, and you go ahead and tighten these up, and there's 4 of them, that holds that in place. Super clean, nice way to finish off the fender. All right, the next thing you need to think about when you do the Hi Fender kit is you've now taken the space of the factory air box. Okay, so you know you've got to modify this somehow. In our case, what we did was we chose a nice kit from K&N that includes a new tube, new air filter that's washable. This is a really nice upgrade. It also even includes this little baffle that you slip in here, and that helps to keep all the hot air out of your intake system. So it's pulling in air from around the headlight and just giving your engine cool air. This is a great upgrade, and it's one of the final steps in buttoning up your high fender conversion. All right, as you know, when you do the high fender kit on a TJ, YJ, CJ, you've got to trim the hood in order to clear the new fenders. So we're gonna go through the steps with you and kind of show you what we're gonna do. So you're gonna mark it off with blue tape. I want you to cover the whole surface. That way, if there's a mistake at all, you aren't gonna scratch the paint. And I'm gonna fold that under because we need that bottom edge. We're gonna measure up from the bottom. And in this case, what I'm gonna do is just take a silver Sharpie and we're gonna measure up 3 inches. So it's exactly 3. And what I do is I just go about every inch and I put a mark. And then what I'm gonna do is connect all these lines with a straight edge so that when you have all the marks done and connected all the lines with a straight edge, then you're gonna carefully take a thin cutoff wheel and run down there and cutting the hood and drop off that piece. Now, what I would suggest is cut a little bit below your line so that that allows you a little extra meat left so that if your line's not perfectly straight, you can come back with a flap wheel or something else to get the line or the bottom edge nice and straight, okay? And you can use your straight edge to double check that and make sure that it's nice and straight before you go ahead and put it back on the Jeep. I also recommend you take a Q-tip, spray a little paint on there, you run that across the bottom edge to help seal the paint. You can also go to the auto parts store and get some thin edging that also has glue in it. So you put that on there, you heat it with a heat gun or a blow dryer, and then that'll glue on there. All right, another product I want to tell you about is we actually have an aftermarket hood that's available in fiberglass or carbon fiber, really nice quality. It's got the heat reduction built into it. This is available in high fender, like I'm showing you here, or standard fender, where the hood's a little taller. It already has inserts in it to accept all the factory hardware, your hood latches, and the hood release in the middle. All right, that completes our high fender installation, including trimming or installing a new high fender hood. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to call in, talk to my guys. Every one of them's a Jeep guy. They know exactly what's involved, and they'll help walk you through all the steps.